y'all, I'm back and I'm really excited because today I have creepy stories from the Appalachian Mountains. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but honestly, I did not know this existed until kind of recently. But since I found out what it was, I feel like I've heard so many different ghost stories, I've seen TikToks, and so I wanted to read about it today. If you're like me and you don't know, the Appalachian Mountain Trail is one of the most famous hiking paths in the United States, which is also the largest hiking-only trail in the world. It spans 14 states from Maine to Georgia and through several interesting areas to hike in the United States. So there are 10 stories in this article, which I will have linked down below. I'm so excited because I read the first 2 and I'm like, this is gonna be fun. Scary, but fun. It's what we do here. Okay, so number 1, man pursued by the scorched man. Hiking alone along the Appalachian Mountain Trail might bring up some inner fear and imagination of being followed or pursued by some unseen human or animal. In 2011, a certain man decided to take a week off from work and go hiking alone along the Appalachian Trail. At the beginning of the hike, everything was going on well until he got a frightening experience that he will never forget. As he had gone deeper into the trail, the day turned to night. He camped over at his tent. One night, the man heard some noises approaching his tent, but he never got bothered by them, nor did he go out to check out where the noise was coming from. The following day, he continued with his hiking and made camp where he sat around his fire. Suddenly, he was left shocked when he saw a man standing near his firewood with his hands and body badly burned and a smoking face. This experience shocked him and left him numb, but the burned figure just kept staring at him before walking away. The scared man decided to pack his belongings and leave the area quickly, only to come across a recently burned down house with a sheriff around it. The sheriff narrated to the man that 4 days before, the entire family burned alive in the house. And that's the first story. I just can't even imagine what else is in here. But number 2 says the cursed village. Another creepy story about the Appalachian Mountain Trail is about a town village known as Dudleytown. The Appalachian Mountain Trail passes through several locations, with some of these places being inhabited while others are deserted. Dudleytown has a very weird nickname, the Village of the Damned, which is believed to have been cursed a long time ago. The village has a very horrifying history which has kept off several hikers who pass through it. Dudleytown was founded by the descendants of Edmund Dudley, a man who was beheaded by Henry the fucking something, I don't know Roman numerals, for treason and was said to have cursed the land and had a cursed family. Dudleytown was built in the 18th century and was abandoned by the inhabitants in the 19th century, with visible ruins being left behind. The real story about the reasons for the inhabitants abandoning the town is not clear, but there are several stories around this. Some people believe the town was abandoned because the residents who stayed there soon went insane or committed after claiming they were possessed by demons. In the present day, people have reported seeing strange lights and orbs surrounding this damned village. Number 3, and the title alone scares me, a young girl spots a ghost while camping on the trail. I can imagine being a child and seeing this shit. Not many people believe in ghosts, but some people believe they do exist, with some haunting those who messed up and others being helpful. A certain young girl was hiking with her parents along the Appalachian Mountain Trail when she had her first experience of sighting a ghost. During the hike, they had to make camp for the night. The following morning after the creepy night, the girl took her mother for a walk before they continued hiking. As they were walking around, her mother suddenly stopped and stared blankly into the distance. The young girl followed her mother's gaze and saw a hazy apparition which stood against a tree a few meters from where they were. It was a man who was calm but sad and just faded away, leaving the tense mother and child at their spot. Can we go home? That's enough now. Can we go home? Number 4, Civil War soldiers, ghosts haunting Maryland. Several wars were fought in the past on various fronts. In 1862, there were 3 major Civil War battles which were fought over different fronts on what is now known as the Maryland section that is along the Appalachian Mountain Trail. Several lives, especially those of soldiers, were lost in the bloodshed and endless carnage. The death count of these soldiers seemed to be so high that some people believe that their spirits remain. Hikers of the Appalachian Mountain Trail who go through the passes have reported several creepy stories. Some of them have reported seeing ghost soldiers, odd campfires, and the sounds of cannons blasting in the distance. That's crazy. Next to the pass where the bloodshed was overwhelming, there is the farm of a man known as Daniel Wise. It is believed that the bodies of 58 soldiers were tossed down an old well, which has caused reports of ghostly figures wandering around Wise's properties. That one was short. I was hoping it was longer and we could hear all the creepy war ghost stories, but whatever. The next one is a man's encounter with the Pierce Pond ghost twice. Several people like going to hike along the Appalachian Mountain Trail alone, which has not been a good experience for some, as per the stories. A certain man was hiking along Pierce Pond in Maine when he got two shocking experiences that he will never forget. He had hiked for several miles, making stops and camping overnight at various locations. However, one night as he was out enjoying his campfire at the Pierce Pond camp area, he suddenly spotted a figure that was walking a short distance away from his campsite. Taking a close look, the figure seemed to be ghostly in appearance and had the looks of a woodsy outdoorsman type with something that appeared to be fishing gear. The first night, the ghostly figure faded into the night. The following day, the man continued with his hike but encountered the ghostly figure yet again. However, this time it was scary as the figure stopped to stare at him, giving him the chill of his life. The hiker did not hesitate as he abandoned his camp, ran off into the forest, hid behind a tree, and waited until morning. He hurriedly returned to his campsite, packed up his stuff, and got out of that place quickly before nightfall found him. Like, twice? I'd be like, why are you following me? Leave me alone. Go haunt someone else, bitch. Okay, phantom encounter on the trail. The creepy stories of phantom encounters on the Appalachian Mountain Trail do not seem to have an end, as there are several versions of them. In May 1972, a solo hiker was enjoying his walk through the Appalachian Mountain Trail. However, he encountered a ghost from another time. At some point during the hike, the hiker noticed a heavy ground fog that had started surrounding him, which hit him with shock. Upon looking up, he saw a huge person walking with a heavy coat and wide-brimmed hat. The phantom slowly staggered about while his eyes faced the ground as if he was searching for something he had lost. The figure started walking towards the already frightened hiker, still looking at the ground, which made the hiker move aside to avoid being bumped into. As the two were close, the phantom suddenly looked at the hiker, who was shocked by the man's cloudy blue eyes which stared straight through him. What shocked the hiker more is that the man's clothes seemed to come from a different period and never responded when he tried to say hello. The hiker retaliated by walking ahead and turned back only to discover the man had vanished. Oh god, mysterious children giggling around hikers, like, no. Another creepy story is about children who seem to be odd and very creepy to a group of hikers along the Appalachian Mountain Trail. A group of hikers had set camp at a certain location after several miles of hiking. After a good night's sleep, the hikers woke up to something bizarre as they were backpacking. On this morning, the group of hikers woke up and found their campsite surrounded by a thick mist, which was not fading away as the sun came out. They began packing up and started hearing children's laughter coming from around them. As the group was about to get done with packing up, a group of children led by one parent walked out of the mist and started walking past them. These creepy children asked the hikers where they were going, and someone responded that they were hiking along the Appalachian Trail. The kids started laughing, and one of them replied, "This isn't the Appalachian Trail," as they kept walking off. The hikers spent the whole day hearing the children giggling around them. No, you have to go home. Okay, mysterious abduction by unknown people. Is this like a ghost story? Stories of people being abducted along the trail and later being found after losing their direction are many. However, in 1988, a certain man hiking along the trail had a very awful experience, which is rather more frightening than encountering a ghost. I thought these were all going to be haunted stories. As the man was hiking along the trail, he noticed a bright light coming from the forest that was next to him. He never bothered anyone, nor did he investigate the source of the light, but he set up camp somewhere nearby. In the middle of the night, he got startled as he woke up and found a man standing over his hammock. The man got startled, fled, and yelled to some other unseen people that the hiker was awake. Being terrified by this incident, the hiker quickly packed up and continued his hike, quickly to put more distance between the unseen people. The hiker continued with non-stop hiking for some days, which allowed him to relax a bit for the night. Suddenly that night, he took a rest in his hammock. He was cut down, wrapped up, and dragged away to some unknown location. The people began beating him mercilessly as they shouted to one another as others were preparing something. Luckily, the hiker got a chance to cut through his hammock and escaped. He ran away back to civilization and reported to the police, who inquired and never found anyone who had kidnapped the hiker. Like, that in itself, not that I'm a hiker anyways, but I will never go there. And finally, a young couple tracked and watched by unknown forces. A certain young couple had the worst experience while on the Appalachian Mountain Trail. The two were in the southern part of Virginia when they had this creepy experience. One night, as they were asleep in their tent, they were woken up to the sound of rustling and odd noises coming from outside their tent. The young man went out to investigate and managed to scare off some figures that were lurking around and wanted him to chase them, which he never did. The following night, the couple camped with their backs to a cliff to prepare for anything, and their guns prepared. As they were asleep, the figures returned, which made the couple fire, making the figures retreat. The young couple had to hustle their way out of the place, and around midday, they saw a silhouette of a figure standing in the distance, watching them. I just had a cough attack, and I'm like crying. That was so random, and with one sentence left. Luckily, they managed to get off the trail and get to civilization in time. After everything I had seen and heard prior to this, I was never gonna go, but now I'm really never gonna go. I'm not a hiker anyways, I'm not an outdoorsy girly, so I wouldn't have done it. But now I'm like, now I have a reason other than I'm not athletic. But that is all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. Actually, wait, I feel like I've gotten a story on the subreddit before of someone's experience in the Appalachian Mountains. I think, I don't know, I'm not too sure. But if you have an experience there and you want to share it with me, please, I will have the subreddit link down below. I feel like I'm kind of losing my voice. Like, I feel like my voice was like kind of raspy and like low this whole video. Maybe it's just me. I didn't really do anything to make me lose my voice. Maybe I'm just tired, honestly. But I am gonna go. I love you guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye. I had the longest weekend known to man. Dude, I don't know what happened because Saturday I really wasn't supposed to have a long day. I was supposed to like be home by like, I don't even fucking know what time, but I was not. Friday I was out all day and all night doing stuff. Saturday I like recovered in the morning, but then at like 2 I was like doing shit until like midnight or 1, and then Sunday was my friend's husband's birthday and we were on the lake for like 10 hours. Oh my god, I was exhausted by the time I got home. I just feel like I was doing so much and I never really had like a chance to like come home and like sit and relax. I was like with people the whole time, doing shit the whole time, and like being on the lake and in the sun for so long, oh my god, it's so tiring. But it was a lot of fun. Like, I don't regret it at all. It was so much fun. I had a really fun weekend. I just like, yesterday was Monday, it's Tuesday when I'm filming this. Yesterday I just like laid on my couch like, oh my god, like I don't want social interaction for like a year. I don't want to leave my apartment, I don't want to do anything, but we're back. Bitches. I actually hung out with my sister yesterday. It wasn't even like I just sat at home. She texted me and wanted to go to Target and I can't say no. But yeah, I don't really have much to tell you and my camera's gonna stop recording, so I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna try to end it before it does. I love you guys so much. Love you. See ya.